And we welcome you back to the Coach's Show here on SportsNetUSA.net. Normally, you would see a shot of us maybe at the football field or at the basketball court and say, okay, you know what, this is what Fullerton College did this last week, and this is the result. Well, we have a little bit of a different thing going on here. So, with a little bit better of an explanation, let's get right out to Saturday's opening between Fullerton College and Mount Sac.
Welcome to Fullerton College Football on SportsNetUSA.net. Hey, I'm Mark Pavlovich along with the mystery Corey Nalen. We are the voices of Fullerton College Football as your Hornets end their season today against the Mount and San Antonio Mounties. That's right, the season comes to an end today, and it's going to be the Hornets who officially are standing right now at 1-8. That's right, they got a surprise victory just a little while back. So we're 1-8 right now, but at the end of the day, the season will end. And it will be a season that, as far as Mr. Pavlovich and Mr. Nalen are concerned, it's a season where the Fullerton College Hornets once again are national champions. And until somebody beats them, all you have to do is watch the Coach's Show. You'll discover that that's the way we feel right here today. It should be an exciting football game. These two teams have been rivals for a variety of years on SportsNetUSA.net.
All right, thank you.
So Chris Jackson takes a look to the outside, cuts at the 20. He's got an opening at the 30, 35, 40, 50. He could be gone. Jackson's taking it all the way to start this game off for Mount Sac.
And there's a flag on the play, and we'll see if
Or kickoff return to start this game. Jensen brings him out. Hands off, fakes to Moore. Gresh Jensen up the middle. Touchdown, Hornets.
28 yards away. They have to deal with Jair Moore on the fake stretch. He takes it up the middle, 4-6. That's the 6th touchdown of the season for Gresh Jensen.
It almost seemed like Fullerton all Saturday afternoon was able to score whenever they felt like it. Fullerton got an interception return for a touchdown by Peter Kazibwe, and the big man, the linebacker, went to the outside and ran his way down to the goal line for another touchdown to extend Fullerton College lead. After Gresh Jensen was able to hook up with Sean North on the left-hand side, who broke a couple of tackles and made his way into the end zone, Fullerton came away with a 53-43 win, and it would be the Fullerton College Hornets who took home another victory to stay undefeated. And sticking in the football mentality, let's immediately, kind of go around the state of California and see how things finished out on this last Saturday of play between most of the teams around the CCCAA. Immediately, we start off with a team who plays here on SportsNetUSA.net in Golden West College. Golden West College went down to Grossmont, and wouldn't you know it, Golden West, all they needed was one win, and they would get themselves into the postseason for the first time since 2015. Golden West, well, it would be a tough one going against Grossmont. Grossmont comes into the game at 1-8, Golden West at 5-4. Win and in for Golden West. Grossmont just playing for pride. It starts off with Grossmont getting on the board first as they had Brady Apt, who immediately threw for a 40-yard touchdown pass in the second quarter to Jonathan Summers, and Summers hauled it in to make it 7-0 Grossmont. Just about 3 minutes later, Golden West replied with a Dante Swain 10-yard touchdown run, and Jose Arredondo got his kick to go through and made it 7-7, a tie in the second quarter. Well, the second quarter scored and wouldn't stop there, as about a minute and a half later, it'd be Grossmont getting back on the board with another touchdown pass going from Brady Apt to Ernest Davis on a 30-yard touchdown pass this time to make it 14-7. Well, wouldn't you know it? We just said that before, but it'd be more scoring in the second quarter. A lot of points put up as Robzel Sylvester, RJ Sylvester, got a 5-yard touchdown pass from Bo Kalbacher to tie it up at 14. 28 points combined between both of those two teams were scored in the second quarter, and we went into half at a 14-14 tie. In the fourth quarter, as we skip over the third where really just nothing happened. Penalties both ways. They both had a couple of turnovers, but we go to very late in the fourth quarter. Golden West marches their way inside the 20-yard line. They leave the ball on the foot of Jose Arredondo. Remember that a week ago, prior to Saturday's matchup, Jose Arredondo went 2 for 2 in a game against Southwestern, and it was crucial for the victory for Golden West College. Well, now he'd be called upon again. Jose Arredondo with a 33-yard field goal that went up and through to make it 17-14, Golden West with a 3-point lead and under 3 minutes to play in the game. Well, the Golden West Rustlers would hang on, and they'd make sure that Grossmont couldn't march themselves downfield. They'd come away with the victory, 17-14, Golden West back into the postseason for the first time since 2015. Now, we do know what that matchup will be. We'll get to that in just a moment, as Golden West takes down Grossmont by a final of 17-14. Golden West, third down efficiency, they were 6 of 15. On the other side, Grossmont, 36% on 4 of 11. Bo Kahlbacher, great day, 25 of 39 for 272 and a long of 43. 1 touchdown, did have 2 INTs. Both of them weren't his fault, as they were tipped and deflected into the arms of defensive backs. Brady Apt looked golden, magnificent on Saturday. 18 of 31. Most of his incompletions came in that fourth quarter, but he threw for 237, a long of 40, and 2 touchdowns with 1 INT as well. Tavon Valdez had 13 attempts for 81 yards altogether, and Jarius Burnett had 20 attempts for 76 yards, and he led the way rushing-wise for Grossmont. David Atencio, 103 yards receiving on 10 receptions, along with 20 and no touchdowns. And Jonathan Summers, who looked really good in the game on Saturday with 6 receptions for 104. So Golden West is going to have themselves a bowl game coming up here on Saturday afternoon. The official matchup there is going to be Golden West taking on the Cerritos Falcons live right here on SportsNetUSA.net. It's going to be a 6 p.m. matchup at Cerritos, and you'll listen to the voice of Golden West Rustler football, the one and only Rashawn Haylock, joined by myself, Ryan Osborne, and Ed Ford, joining you from Cerritos. So Cerritos and Golden West on Saturday, and it's a bowl game, the Southern California Bowl for the Golden West Rustlers. Moving around Southern California, Fullerton College ended up beating Mount Sac, so Fullerton goes to 10-0 this season. They stay undefeated this year. 53-43 the final there, as Mount Sac made a late charge, but they just weren't able to close it enough to get themselves back into the game and steal a victory. So Fullerton goes undefeated this year, the unofficial national champions, the Fullerton College Hornets. Up north, some pretty crucial games that took place. Fresno City takes down West Hills Coalinga 41-21, a 20-point victory, and that'd be huge for Fresno City because with that win, they got selected to go to the Northern California playoff. At 8-2, the Fresno City Rams are in as the wild card selection. Butte ends up beating Shasta by a score of 33-21. Shasta 2-8, Butte 9-1. They go in as one of the top seeds, the top 2 seeds in Northern California. You stay with the Northern California vibe and you take a look around and you say, well, there are only 2 other teams that could possibly be in the playoff, and one of them is Laney College. Laney, with a victory this last weekend, they end up once again in the playoff as they kind of stuck around at the top half of the SportsNetUSA.net standings all season long, and the Laney Eagles, with a win on Friday night by a score of 21-7 over Chabot College, and Laney goes to 8-2 this year. They end up in the Northern California playoff. Now, there was one game that took place that was huge, as it would be City College of San Francisco, who ended up playing their game on Sunday afternoon against San Mateo. That game was rescheduled from Saturday to Sunday, as San Francisco and San Mateo couldn't play their game initially due to poor air quality due to the fires up north. something that would later affect a lot of teams here in Southern California as well. But up north, they have fires, they had poor air quality, and so they had to reschedule it to the next day. San Mateo with a 3-point victory in the fourth quarter, 32-29, the final, as the San Mateo Bulldogs take home a win over San Francisco. The winner of that game would finish in the state playoff. San Mateo, by a victory, they go in and they are the final of the 4 teams up north. So we're going to see a lot of action taking place this upcoming Saturday in the SCFA and in Northern California as well. A reminder that the 2 games taking place in Northern California, it's going to be the Northern California semifinal game between Fresno City and Butte. That's the only game that will start at 1 p.m. Thanks to Butte City College, they don't have lights at their field, and the conditions are better being played in the daytime. They will host Fresno City at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and then also in Northern California at 6 p.m., San Mateo plays Laney College in a Northern semifinal. Now here in Southern California, it is Ventura and Canyons who'll finish in the top 4, so they will end up going to the playoff. They will play each other at 6 p.m. as Canyons will host Ventura in the Southern California Regional. The other 2 teams that just sneak in, conference champion El Camino, by way of Fullerton unfortunately forfeiting their games, they will face Riverside City College, who is not undefeated, as opposed to what you will see on the schedule. Riverside City College, their only loss this season came to Fullerton College, and they are the number 1 seed in the Southern California Regional Playoffs. So Riverside hosts El Camino at 6, Canyons hosts Ventura at 6 p.m. as well, Laney hosts San Mateo, and up north it's Butte hosting Fresno City College. Now that's not the only possibility for championships that you will see on Saturday afternoon, as De Anza will take on Reedley, the top 2 teams up north in the American Division Championship in Northern California. Southern California, the American Championship Bowl will take place between San Bernardino Valley and Allen Hancock in a little bit of a controversial act, as Chaffee, with a victory, gets knocked down from number 1 down to number 3. So that will be San Bernardino Valley taking on Allen Hancock in the American Championship Bowl here in Southern California. And in Northern California, it's going to be Reedley taking on De Anza College. So that about wraps it up for football this upcoming year. We'll get you some of the results this upcoming week here on the Coaches Show. Now, this last week, we had the pleasure here on SportsNetUSA.net of covering some basketball. That's right, the 35th annual Fullerton College Basketball Classic took place right here on SportsNetUSA.net, and for the first year ever, it was the first annual Walt Simon Memorial Classic as well. Well, it was a lot of basketball coverage. Over the 2 days, we covered a total of 6 games altogether, never once going down on the broadcast, which means that we had around near 20 hours worth of basketball coverage right here on SportsNetUSA.net, your leader for community college football, and as you would see here on SportsNetUSA.net, the leader for community college basketball as well. Now, first off, we want to thank each and every coach who joined us on the broadcast over the 2 days. We start up north as the head coach of West Hills, Adedokun Alenrewaju, was kind enough to join us on the second day, not to mention Brett Lowry, the head coach of Citrus College. In the Orange Empire Conference, Perry Webster, who was the host and who has really accommodated us pretty well over the last 3 years that he has been here at Fullerton College, the head coach of Fullerton College and the Hornets. Coach Andy Ground, the head coach of Saddleback, making sure we had as much info as possible. Coach Mitch Charlins, who we talked to 2 years ago at the Fullerton College Basketball Classic. We got to talk to him on Thursday afternoon. And then, last but not least, Travis Nichols, who really gave us some insight as to what it's like being able to establish your own program in the first 2 years at the helm. We want to thank each and every one of those 6 coaches who joined us on the broadcast. You were nice enough to be able to talk to us, make your time available to us as well, and it was a joy to be able to cover those teams. So that was the 35th annual Fullerton College Basketball Classic that took place right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Now, here on SportsNetUSA.net, we cover all sorts of sports, including right here on the Coaches Show. Now, a couple weeks ago, I told Mark, hey, Mark, we have to make sure that when we do our interviews, we have to wear a polo. I think he didn't necessarily hear me as well as he could have, as he thought I meant we need to go out and talk to water polo. Well, that kind of got me thinking, you know what? Coach Martinez and his staff have had a terrific year. So let's go right out to Coach Martinez because his team is just 2 victories away from another state championship. Now we're being joined by Coach Martinez, the head coach of women's water polo here on campus. And Coach, 4 years ago, 2014 was a magical year. Now you're very close to getting to that promised land again. What's it like to be in this position?
You know, that 2014, we went 35-0, and I thought that we had a young team. We could come back and do this over and over and over again. And it's been hard to get back into this game, and I'm very excited, and the girls are excited. We're looking forward to this opportunity again and to win this state championship.
And Coach, when you did win that state title in 2014, going undefeated as you mentioned, was there any sort of accomplishment feeling in your head as you realized, wow, not only did we win the state title, but we didn't lose on our way there?
It was pretty. I've won championships at other types of water polo, whether it's club, whether it's high school, whether it's at D1 level. But to win here and to go undefeated, I had never been a part of a team to go undefeated like that, and not just go undefeated, but beat the runner-up in the state 6 times. We beat the runner-up in the state 6 times. That's unheard of. So it was pretty exciting. I was very excited on winning that year.
And Coach, I mean, you look at Orange County, a lot of people make a fuss about Golden West, but you guys, do you feel that you perform better being that unknown type of team?
You know, at first, when I first got here, I thought we were the unknown team. We are not the unknown team anymore. Golden West hasn't beat us in 4 years, and I anticipate continuing that role. We are now the target, and people are looking to beat us and knock us off. So yeah, I think we've established a fantastic program here, not just in the water, but also the matriculation part and the transferring out. The girls usually transfer out a year and a half, sometimes within the year. Definitely 2 years after they've enrolled here, they've transferred out and continued playing.
When you look at this season, at what point in training camp did you kind of realize, you know what, we have a special squad again?
At the beginning, when we brought in the team and we saw the type of athletes that we had and the recruiting class that we had, I knew, like, I could tell right from the get-go, from the chemistry, the flow, the tempo of our team, like, we have a team that can make a run for the state championship. And at the beginning, we just needed to stay healthy, and so far, thank God, we've all stayed healthy and we've had a successful season so far.
Now, just moments ago, you mentioned girls transferring out. Does it really give you that almost father sense, like, wow, I'm so proud of these girls for moving on from our program?
Yeah, I think that, you know, some people have a mindset that kids or athletes will come to JCs and then they get lost in the shuffle. Well, they don't get lost in the shuffle here. That's something that we take a lot of pride in, as well as a success in the water. But the girls transferring out and the success that they're having outside of Fullerton College once they've done playing here. We've transferred out 97% of our girls on or before 2 years, and I'm very proud of that.
When you have that 97% that you mentioned just moments ago, I mean, is that really a recruiting thing that you can use as well when you look at prospects?
Absolutely. I keep a list of all the girls who came here since I started here. I don't know about before that, but since I started here, which was 2008, I kept a list of all the girls that have played in our program, where they transferred out, and that's part of the packet that I hand out to recruits to let them know that we've transferred out girls to the East Coast, within Southern California, Northern California, and the majority of them continue playing, but all of them will transfer out on time.
When you look at your water polo program, as you mentioned, here since 2008, all of a sudden through these last 10 years, Have you really started to see that shift? As you said earlier, you're no longer the unknown type of team. Have you seen that shift go from, okay, we're just here trying to compete to, oh, wow, teams really consider us to be that special game on their schedule?
Oh, there's no question. I think you can tell when we walk on the pool deck wearing our blue and gold. People look over and said, "Oh, that's Fullerton. Are we playing Fullerton? Oh, we're gonna lose." You can see it before the game starts. You can see it in their faces. I don't want to play them. They're going to beat us. We've already lost. Let's just try to keep it close. You can see it from the get-go, and that's something that we like. And to be completely honest with you.
Going into that game against Long Beach, you knew that it was going to be a tough task ahead of you. All of a sudden, you find yourself tied going into overtime. When that goal goes across the line, what's the feeling like for you?
Um, you know, we knew as the season was going along which teams were going to be in contention to get to the state championship, and we knew we had marked Long Beach as being one of those teams because of the athletes that they have and because of the coaching staff that they have. They have, in my opinion, a very good coaching staff, and we knew that they were going to be well prepared. We knew that they were going to give us the best shot they could possibly give it. But our team is resilient. Our team is tough. Our team is mentally tough, physically tough, and they compete. In that overtime, they scored the first goal, and our girls came back with 2 goals to take the lead and then hang on to it. And that goes to them and their mental toughness and their competitiveness and their will to win.
When you look at this upcoming game, you mentioned before we went on the air that you are going to play Delta in round number 1. When you look at a team from Northern California who you may not have seen as much as teams here in Southern California, how do you scout ahead of time?
Well, we played Delta in the middle of the season, so we have some videotape. I've also had some videos sent to me from other coaches. We share videos, and we know what they're trying to accomplish. We know how they're running their office. The girls know what the game plan is going to be, and they'll be prepared going into the game. We just got to execute.
When you talk about executing, what is one thing that if your team does well, you'll have success?
Our success this year has been on our defense. I know it's a corny statement to say, but defense wins championships, and that's all we've been doing all season is keeping everybody under 6 goals. And I know if we can keep Delta under 4 goals, we're gonna win.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this upcoming weekend.
Oh, thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you guys all there.
So Fullerton College coming up, just as Coach mentioned, is going to have a big-time matchup against San Joaquin Delta. Now, you start off with the number 1 game that will take place early in the morning, 10:30 a.m. in Northern California, where the state finals are taking place. The first semifinal game will feature Sierra College taking on Santa Barbara. That's the number 1 team in the north hosting the number 2 team from the south. So Sierra and Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, will represent Southern California at 10:30 a.m. At 1 p.m., it'll be Fullerton College going up against the San Joaquin Delta squad that has really presented a problem for all of Northern California up until the state semifinal. So Fullerton at 1 p.m. against San Joaquin Delta, Sierra taking on Santa Barbara. And this is it for the Fullerton College Hornets. 2 wins, and they are the state and national champions. If you want to go out and support your Fullerton College Hornets, go ahead and do so, as they'll be up north at West Valley College in the state semifinal and possibly the final on Saturday as well, depending on how things go. Now, when you look at this last weekend for Fullerton College, well, they had a little bit of trouble. They were facing some of the best teams in all of Southern California, and they took on Santa Barbara in game number 1 and beat Santa Barbara by 2 by a final of 11-9. But it was in the final for Fullerton where they took on Long Beach where they had the most trouble. Fullerton was leading by 1 at the end of the first at 3-2. At the end of the second, Long Beach got one back, and it was tied at 5-5 after the end of 2. In the third frame, both sides ended up scoring 2, but in extra, well, Fullerton scored 2 in the fourth, and it allowed them to just kind of hang on as long as possible right to the end. By a rope, they were able to pull out a 9-8 victory, and the Fullerton College Hornets walk their way up, or drive their way up at least, to Northern California and allow themselves to be in the state semifinal game that's coming up. Fullerton College was led offensively by Brianna Santos, as Santos had 1 goal and 3 assists. She had a total of 4 points on the afternoon. Abigail Nunez had 3 goals and an assist. Brianna Portales had 2 goals and an assist as well. And Alexandra Lopez had 2 goals to her credit. And she also had 4 steals, as she was huge for Fullerton College. On the other side for Long Beach, 3 goals were scored by Alejandra Villa, in addition to Sydney Breitenberg, who had 2 herself. Madison Hinojosa had 2 goals and 3 assists on just 5 shots, and she also committed 4 turnovers as well. Tatiana Kava got the win for Fullerton College. She faced 18 shots and made 10 saves and played all 4 quarters. On the other side, it was Cam Rosas who gets the loss. She faced a total of 20 shots, made 11 saves, but gave up 9. Shot-wise, well, Fullerton College kind of controlled the end there, as in the third quarter, they put up 5 more shots than Long Beach, but Long Beach just wasn't able to get that game-tying one in the final frame. So for Fullerton College, upcoming, the Fullerton College Hornets at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, that's Friday, November the 16th, they will have a chance to go to the state final game, which would take place early on Saturday morning. That would be November the 17th of 2018. This is the shot for the Hornets. Can they get back to the state championship? We will let you know what the results are this upcoming week on the Coaches Show. Well, that's going to do it for the show this week. We thank you for joining us, as always, right here on SportsNetUSA.net and the Coaches Show as well. I'm Ryan Osborne. You've been watching and listening to the Coaches Show right here on SportsNetUSA.net.